Sorry, that was my mom. She was like, do you want a candle? I was like, I mean, I always want a candle, but I'm in the middle of a video. So, as I was saying, this is a little compact, so it's kind of a denser powder. So that's why I like using the brush instead of the sponge. The sponge to me gets it kind of cakey and makes you look cakey, which is not good. So I kind of, and the way I do it is I don't like dip, I like kind of gently swipe. And just kind of, instead of like rubbing it on, I kind of pat it on, because that kind of pats the powder in place. And I especially focus where I put the concealer. So just until you kind of get desired amount of coverage. I usually do a little more on my nose because that tends to get a little oily. And always do down your neck. So I always do a little bit on the chin, and then I always rub down my neck. So I do actually rub and kind of brush in, so that way I don't have like a line. Nobody likes makeup lines. And I kind of blush a little bit into my ear, brush a little into my ear, just again, so there's no makeup line. So brush it into the hairline, but try not to like get it in your hair. So just, yeah. And then if you want, just take a tiny bit and do right on your eyelids, so they don't get oily and shiny. Like that. And then another easy trick, brows. Brows always make you look like you're wearing more makeup. Sorry, my camera like moved. There we go. So brows always make you look a little more done up, but you don't have to go crazy. I tend to go crazy and do really bold brows, but you can do it really easy. So I just take a brush in a little bit. I bought this at Ulta. This is the e.l.f. I forget what number, and it's got a little paintbrush on one end that's angled and a little tooly thingy, whatever the hell it's called, on the other end, and I use that to kind of brush my brows, and I always brush them up and then down a little. And then this is the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt Mascara Gel. It says mascara, it's not. I promise you it's brow. That's why it says Brow Sculpt, but it looks like a little mascara. So it's a little brush. And this is the shade. What shade is this? I think this is medium, because I have really dark brows. If you want something lighter, go light, or dark if you're darker. I think medium will be right for you too. So you just kind of swipe it up, like you essentially brush your brows with the gel. So brush it with the brush, kind of use the flat end, and then I turn it to the side to kind of brush it down. And then you can get more if you think you need a little more. I don't want it too heavy, so I'm just, using it to kind of follow the natural shape of my brow that I have. See? And now it makes a difference. My brows look a little more awake, a little bit darker, and if you just kind of follow the way that your brow goes. And tend to do it up. Don't go sideways on your front of your brow, because that hair tends to grow up. So if you kind of brush it up and then over, kind of making that arc of your brow, it's going to give you the shape that's a little more natural, as opposed to if you try to make it like straight, what ends up happening is it looks weird. Your hair kind of goes in different directions. And this way we're kind of just trying to tame the brow hair and make it go. And you can do 1 layer, 2 layer, 3 layer. I just did, I think, about 3, because I like them a little darker. When I'm a little lighter, do like 1 or 2. Mascara. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex Waterproof. I highly recommend this because it is literally ugly cry proof. I have totally sobbed while wearing this, and my mascara didn't run. I've also sweat and heat and other things, and it tends to last. So I really like it. So I'm just gonna do a few swipes here. And my trick is I like to hold it and blink very lightly to help coat the base of my lashes. Just be careful that you're not holding it like too firmly, or you'll hit yourself in the eyelid and have mascara everywhere. So just be really light and gentle, and I do a few coats. And you can wiggle it, give it a little wiggle, gives it a little volume. See? And then for lips. So I told you to do the ColourPop Lippy. This one's similar. It's not a red, it's kind of a darker maroon color, because I don't have the ColourPop lip pencil in a shade that's like kind of a darker red, but this is the Maybelline Superstay ink crayon in the shade Make It Happen. And it's a similar pencil. So a really easy trick is do just a little in the middle and a little on the edges, and then just do a little on your lip. Just really light. And then I take my finger and I just kind of blend it out. Careful to stick to your lip line and not get it all over your face. So just kind of follow your lip. And I like to rub them together a little bit, but not so much that the edges of my lip go completely in my mouth, because then what happens is you end up getting the lip everywhere else. So just kind of really gently. And then if you want it a little bit darker, you can add a little more to the middle and blend it out. And it's just really easy, super lightweight to get a little bit of color. This does last for a long time. It's a bit of a matte formula, so that, and I still had plenty of lip balm on, so I kind of blended with the lip balm to give you kind of a glossy look, but then it is gonna actually like dry a little bit and give you almost like a lip tint. So that's like a really easy, it's actually a Korean beauty trick. That's what they do lipstick, but they do a lot of like lip balm, and then they just take a tiny bit of lipstick, usually on their finger, and blend it out, because they want it to look like they just naturally have really brightly colored lips, as opposed to the like super heavy lipstick that we see in America. But that's it. That's my super easy makeup look that I think will be easy enough for you to do. It looks really simple, you know, concealer in a little spots, set it with powder, do a little bit in your eyes, you know, a little bit of just a little bit of the concealer and the powder in your eyes. You know, the brows, just use a little brow gel wand, swipe, 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 mascara, little lip. You can easily do this in about 5 minutes, maybe a little bit longer if you're slower, but it tends to give you a little more like, I'm, you know, very natural. You can still see a little bit of pink on my cheeks. If you wanted to throw on a blush, you could, but it's just a really, really light, really simple. And doing a little bit of concealer on the actual eyelids, it's gonna make you look more awake, and it's gonna hide a little bit of darkness that we naturally have on our eyelids. So it makes you look like, oh, you're very awake and bright and fresh, and the concealer is gonna brighten up your face too. My recommendation for concealer colors is you typically want to do a half shade lighter than your skin tone. So be careful with testing in your hand, because if you notice, for me, my hand is a little bit darker than my face. So what I actually do is I'll test on my neck, or I'll put it on my hand and then put it up against my face, because you want about a half shade lighter. I really do like the Maybelline Superstay concealers. I've heard really, really good reviews about them, and I use them occasionally. I also really love the Tarte Shape Tape. I tend to use this more when doing glam looks, simply because it is a much thicker formula. It tends to last a long time, but because it's so thick, if you're not blending it into a foundation and really setting it in a glam way, it can look a bit cakey. Whereas the Maybelline Superstay, I find it blends in a little bit better for a lighter look. So that's that. That's my super easy frame the face, which is kind of the basic rules of makeup. Your 3 main points of your face: brows, eyes, lips. It's always going to make you look a little bit more done up and a little more awake. So at the very least, a little bit of brow product, a little bit of mascara, a little bit of lip, it goes a long way. And then just doing a little bit of the concealer and then setting everything with that powder foundation, it's going to make your makeup last longer, and it's going to make it look a little more polished, a little more finished, because now it's hiding, you know, we all get the dark circles from lack of sleep, so it helps with the dark circles. A little bit of concealer here naturally highlights, so it brings attention kind of up on your face. The same with the point on the nose and a little bit on your chin. Those are the points that tend to be red. They can have acne. So what it does is it essentially conceals those spots. So then when you do just the powder on top of it, it makes it look like you don't have those like spots on your face. Like, it helps hide and make it look like you're wearing a bunch of foundation, but you're not. So I hope that this was helpful. You can obviously ask me any questions. Ask me if you want another makeup look, like, hey, I'm thinking of this for Halloween, Haley, how the hell do I do this? I'm super happy to do that for you as well. Sorry it took so long. My weekends have been a little bit crazy lately. but I miss you, girl. So I miss you. Miss my sissy. So if you want any other makeup advice or what brands do you use, hit me up. And hopefully I'm not too awkward in this video. So, and pardon my messy room. I know my room's super messy right now. I'm in the middle of downsizing, reorganizing. Yeah, so it's messy. So, all right, well, love you, sissy. Bye.